We've got breaking news out of the NBA where the Los Angeles Lakers have fired head coach DARVIN Ham after just 2 seasons. Lakers went 47-35 this year, good for 7th place in the Western Conference before ducking out in the first round of the playoffs in a 4-1 series loss to the Nuggets. Ham led LA to the Western Conference Finals in his first year with the team, but ultimately losing to Denver in a 4-game sweep. The Lakers will have plenty of questions to answer this offseason between hiring a new head coach and LeBron James's future in Los Angeles. Let's now welcome in basketball writer and NBA analyst Bill Ryder here to discuss this. Bill, before we came on, I asked you if you were surprised, and you said you weren't. So give us more details on your reaction to the firing of DARVIN Ham.
Yeah, it felt like a mercy that they finally got around to it, Jeremy, because it was the worst-kept secret, certainly within that building, and maybe just around the entire NBA, that DARVIN Ham was not going to be back next year. He had lost the locker room. He had clearly lost the trust of the front office and ownership. And when LeBron James publicly, and I'm told also privately and demonstratively, undercuts you and makes it clear that he's no longer interested in what you have to say and you're the head coach, you're probably not going to be the head coach much longer. Fair or not fair, this was a situation where they underperformed this year based on their expectations, and there was a feeling among the players that they had just tuned out DARVIN Ham. And I'm glad the Lakers, because he's a really good guy, made the decision public, because they certainly, as I understand it, made the decision to do this several days ago.
So with that in mind, Bill, are there any names that are popping up on who the Lakers might be looking at?
Yeah, several. So talking to a couple folks in the Lakers organization, I'm told it's not a set deal, but Mike Budenholzer right now would be the leader in the clubhouse, former coach of Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Bucks, won an NBA championship there 3 years ago. I think keep an eye on JJ Redick. I know that sounds like a long shot, but he is in conversations in Charlotte. He obviously does a podcast with LeBron James. They have a great relationship. Maybe a longer shot if Frank Vogel gets fired from the Suns. There might be an interesting fit there. Phil Handy is an assistant. He'll get a look. I mean, there'll be some names that'll be in the mix, but the main ones right now are Mike Budenholzer in terms of likelihood and JJ Redick in terms of maybe a longer shot, but somebody to keep an eye on.
So he went 90-74 in his 2 seasons with the Lakers. How much of what's happened with this team over the past 2 years do you think falls at the feet of Ham here, Bill?
I think it's a good amount, and I think it's a really difficult situation. You can talk to any Lakers fan here in L.A. I mean, Jeremy, if you tell them what we do for a living, you have to plan 10 minutes of your day so they can explain to you how DARVIN Ham doesn't know how to coach or use timeouts or deal with his rotations or play Austin Reeves enough or whatever the examples. And there's some truth in that. It's also just true that it is not easy to coach LeBron James. It comes with a lot of opportunity. It comes with a chance, obviously, to be successful. But LeBron has a ridiculously high basketball IQ. He is part GM, part assistant coach, absolute 100-part superstar. And he's not afraid to throw his weight around. That's the reality. And whether it's David Blatt back in the day in Cleveland or Ham now, when you're a first-time head coach and you're trying to get your arms around doing this job at this level, and you throw into mix the difficulty of managing LeBron James and all the expectations that come with that, it's going to be tough to succeed. So I think those are some of the reasons. But no, I don't think that he covered himself in absolute glory. And it does make sense, whatever's fair or not fair, Jeremy, that they made an assessment that this wasn't working and that they could do better.
In terms of the options, I mean, let's continue this conversation about LeBron. I mean, what have you heard about his future? What are the Lakers' options here?
The Lakers' options are to hope that he sticks around. And I think it'll be interesting because a name I did not give you who, in terms of a possible coach, is Ty Lue, because he's currently, as we know, coaching the Clippers in the postseason. They've got a game against the Mavs they need to win. If a guy like Ty Lue became available, big if, they'd have to lose this series, and then he'd have to be fired from the Clippers. He's under contract. That might entice LeBron to stay a little bit longer. It's hard to really riddle out what he's going to do. He has that $51 million player option. He certainly looks like a star, despite the fact he's about to be a 40-year-old NBA player. We know Bronny is probably going to go in the draft. He's declared that is his intention, and assuming he sees that through, we'll have to figure out whether or not LeBron wants to play with Bronny now or later. It's something he said that he's interested in. But the fact is, Jeremy, I don't think the Lakers know, just talking to folks in that organization. They're confident. They think he's going to be back. But the Miami Heat were confident that he was going to be back when he left for Cleveland. And the Cleveland Cavaliers were so not confident LeBron was going to return to them that they hired David Blatt, who they never would have hired if they knew LeBron was going to be there. LeBron keeps the cards pretty close to the vest. Nothing he does should be surprising because he has surprises at every turn. So while the Lakers seem like the likely outcome that he'll return opt into that deal, sign an extension, something. It's not a guarantee because LeBron has always been a guy who sees through his contracts, but then does whatever he wants to do without consulting or informing other teams when that time comes.
Certainly one of the big questions for the Lakers as they head further into the offseason, on top of now having to find a new head coach. Bill Ryder joining us to discuss